Time is arguably the most fundamental structure underpinning our reality. It guides our biology, our thoughts, our universe's expansion, even our understanding of cause and effect. But what if this bedrock of existence didn't flow forward? What if time moved backward? To explore this scenario seriously, we need to reframe our thinking. We're not talking about a time travel story where someone visits the past. We're imagining a reality where the arrow of time is reversed by default. Every process we take for granted, aging, memory, entropy, birth, and death, plays out in the opposite direction. This first part lays the foundation: how time works in physics, what reversing it truly means, and what kinds of universal changes would occur. Hourglass not done, the arrow of time. What is it? In classical physics, time is treated as a dimension, much like space. You can move left or right in space, but in time we only move forward. This forwardness is known as the arrow of time, and it's rooted in the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy increases over time. Entropy is the tendency for systems to move from order to disorder. For example, an egg cracks, but it never uncracks. Ice melts, but doesn't refreeze without external input. Stars burn fuel and never unburn. The direction of entropy gives time its one-way street behavior. If entropy were to decrease, it would imply time is moving in reverse. So in our thought experiment, we're assuming entropy decreases over time. Events unfold in reverse chronology. Time flows from what we now call future to what we now call past. This is not time travel. It's a complete inversion of time structure. Repeat button, time reversed. What changes? Let's consider a universe where time flows backward. Immediately, four key aspects of reality begin to shift. 1. Causality is reversed. In our world, cause-effect. You light a match, the match burns. In a reverse-time world, effect-cause. The match unburns a hand, is holding it, the hand lowers the match. Every effect precedes its cause. It's not simply that time feels reversed. Reality itself is built around inverse logic. This raises deep questions. Do beings in this world experience time forward in the reverse direction? Or do they think and remember backwards as well? We'll explore this in later parts. 2. Entropy decreases. Everything becomes more ordered over time. Broken objects reassemble themselves. Burned forests restore to lush green. People grow younger, shedding experiences, memories, and eventually existence. This violates our intuitive physics, but not necessarily the equations of motion. Interestingly, many of physics' core equations are time-symmetric. They work the same if you flip time's direction, but entropy gives time a preferred direction, and in this world, that preference flips. 3. Aging works in reverse. Aging, as a biological function, would reverse. Individuals would begin life as corpses. They would grow into elderly people with full memories, then de-age into adulthood, adolescence, childhood, eventually unborn into fetuses, and finally dissolve back into gametes. From our perspective, this sounds horrifying or illogical. But in a reverse-time world, this would be the natural cycle of life. Would reverse-aging beings view birth as death? Would they remember the future instead of the past? These questions take us deep into the biology and psychology of such a species, which we'll explore in Part 2. 4. Memory and information flow backward. In our reality, we remember the past but not the future. This is directly tied to entropy. Memories are physical records formed by irreversible processes, e.g., changes in neurons, marks on paper, digital storage. If entropy decreases, memory would flow the other way. People might recall what will happen tomorrow, but forget what happened yesterday, because that hasn't happened yet in their reversed flow. In a reverse-time civilization, individuals might unlearn things as they age, gradually losing complexity of thought, language, and culture. Ironically, the past becomes the most mysterious thing because it hasn't occurred yet. History is uncertain. The future is known. Time's great mysteries flip. DNA, would physics allow this? Strangely, yes, at least on paper. Many of the laws of classical mechanics and quantum theory are time reversible. Newton's laws, Schrödinger's equation, even Maxwell's equations, they don't inherently care if time runs forward or backward. It's entropy and our perception of cause/effect that introduces directionality. So, in theory, a reverse-time universe is not impossible. It's just extraordinarily unlikely because entropy-increasing systems dominate. But in this thought experiment, we override that. We imagine a world born with initial high entropy, now flowing back toward perfect order. Milky Way closing thoughts. We've laid the foundation. In this reverse-time universe, events play out backward. Entropy decreases. People de-age. Memories flow from the future to the past. Biology in a reverse-time universe. In a world where time flows backward, life begins at what we consider the end. Corpses would emerge from the earth or decay processes in reverse, gradually rebuilding into older individuals who grow physically younger over time. A person's timeline in this universe might look like this: death, disintegration into soil, reassembly into a corpse, regeneration into an elderly body, unaging into adulthood, then childhood, fetal stage, separation into sperm and egg. Death isn't feared, birth is. Being born means ceasing to exist entirely, without form, without thought. It's the ultimate vanishing. Life's goal becomes preservation of one's adult form, the peak of cognition. Rebirth is not celebrated. It is mourned. Brain reverse memory, remembering the future. In a forward-time world, we gain knowledge. In reverse time, individuals shed knowledge. People are born with full memory of their future. They know how their lives will unfold because they've already lived it, just in the other direction. But as they age backward, they forget. Adults speak, philosophize, debate. Teenagers misplace knowledge. Children grow curious, not because they're learning, but because their mental complexity is dissolving. Education systems, if they exist, focus on managing loss rather than acquiring skill. Reverse time beings don't ask, "What do I want to be when I grow up?" They know. They've already been it. Red heart relationships in reverse. Romantic and familial bonds become deeply complex. Two individuals might first meet as elderly strangers, then de-age into closer friends, romantic partners, and eventually distant strangers, until they forget each other entirely. Parenting reverses, too. A child gives birth to a parent who slowly returns to youth and vanishes. Families watch each other dissolve into non-existence, one step at a time. Emotionally, life moves from grief to joy, but in reverse order. Loss is anticipated first, then reversed into connection, then separation again. It's not a life of sudden tragedy. It's a life of expected disappearance. DNA, medicine, and reproduction. Medicine wouldn't fight disease. It would manage the reappearance of injury. Doctors wouldn't cure infections. They'd guide a patient through uninfecting. Regeneration is expected. The challenge is ensuring it reverses correctly. Reproduction is strange. A fetus would merge into the womb, and sperm/egg would unjoin. The act of mating might occur at the end of a relationship, post-childbirth. Over generations, tracking lineage becomes difficult. Ancestors are born after descendants. Family trees would branch in both directions, confusing but symmetrical. Society, technology, and civilization in reverse. Cityscape society shrinks over time. A civilization in reverse time would appear to be deteriorating from our perspective. Cities unbuild. Technology vanishes.
Langage évolve.
Societies fragment. But for reverse time beings, this would seem normal. They believe they are constructing their past, shedding complexity as they move closer to the pure origin. There would be no future planning. Architecture is deconstructed with precision, not built. Governments would form around unbuilding institutions while maintaining stability. Wrench technology rewinds. Reverse time technology would be bizarre. Objects reassemble from scrap. Fires suck in smoke and unburn wood. Paper unprints into blank sheets. Communication devolves from digital to oral to silence. Beings would use knowledge stored in the future to carefully unwind the past. Their tools might not function as ours do. They're designed to disappear efficiently. For example, a computer program might begin as a completed file and slowly fragment into code, then binary, then uncharged circuits. Classical building history and legacy. Historical memory flows forward, but is recorded in reverse. Written history vanishes one word at a time. Books lose ink. Monuments lose carvings. Art slowly fades. Legacy doesn't mean what I leave behind. It means what I once was. Reverse time civilizations don't ask, what will I achieve? They ask, how gently can I unmake what I was given? Philosophy focuses on graceful removal, soft forgetting, and elegant withdrawal from space and memory. Language, emotion, and culture in a reversed flow. Speaking head language devolves. Language would evolve backward. Written systems would vanish, then phonetic ones, then body signals. Beings would move from literature to silence. Communication would be a fading art. Children may grow up with no speech at all. In this universe, the most poetic phrases are often spoken last. Every conversation is a countdown toward silence. Performing arts, art and expression. Art fades into abstraction. Paintings begin as vivid pieces and slowly dissolve into blank canvas. Sculptures crumble in perfect reverse. Performing arts unfold in strange order. A dance begins with the bow. A song ends in a silent inhale. A film starts with credits. Creation is an undoing. Completion is return. Crying face emotions in reverse. Emotionally, people start life burdened with grief, wisdom, and regret, and slowly lighten into freedom and innocence. The happiest years come near the end, when one forgets loss, pain, and even identity. In this way, reverse time civilizations achieve peace, just before they vanish. The universe and the meaning of time in reverse. Milky Way cosmology in rewind. The universe is shrinking. Galaxies collapse inward. Stars reform from dust. The Big Bang isn't coming. It's already been. Black holes spit out matter. Supernovas reform into stable stars. The cosmic clock counts down. This is a reality moving not toward heat death, but toward pristine compression, the inverse of entropy. Brain, consciousness, and existence. If minds experience time forward in reverse, consciousness itself becomes a deconstructive process. The point of life is to unfold, release, and finally disappear, taking memories with you. Religion might interpret this not as loss, but as reunification with the pure form, a soul returning to unmarked simplicity. Death is not the end, it's the beginning. And birth is not the start, it's dissolution. Repeat button. Final thought. What if time truly flowed backward? We'd live lives filled with foreknowledge, forgetful endings, and reverence for the simplicity yet to come. A world where wisdom is temporary, memory is reversed, and peace lies not in achievement, but in disappearing gently.